Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nika, this is Leap Taken, and here we discuss all things spiritual, witchy, crafty, manifesting, law of attraction, universal law, alchemy. I run the whole gamut, or I will be. Thank you for watching, and thank you if this is your first time for clicking on my video. I really appreciate it. I'm a budding YouTuber. I don't know how long it will take to even get a lot of followers. I'm really just in it to share. I consider myself a cottage witch. I am a stay-at-home wife. My children are grown, although one is still lurking here, but she won't be here for much longer. She'll be moving on to her advanced education, so she won't be living with us. And my son is in the military, so he definitely won't be living with us anymore either. So my whole point of even coming to YouTube and sharing things is because I remember when I wanted to find someone like me. I wanted to find somebody who was, I guess, regular, who, not that other people aren't regular, but someone who practices magic. Sometimes they're a little fancy, sometimes they're not. Someone who maybe didn't want to just focus on only doing love spells and things like that. I focus on love spells, but I typically do them on myself, self-love spells, or maybe for my children or my husband, and not in a way of romantic love, but self-love. Learning to accept who you are and practicing self-care and enhancing self-care, for instance, especially with my daughter, things like that. I also wanted to find someone on YouTube who was relatable, meaning, I wanted to say regular, but I can't think of any other word but regular. Hopefully you understand what I mean. Someone who seems like an everyday kind of gal, who's a little older. Not that I don't have anything against the younger girls. And they have a lot of knowledge. I follow women who are younger than myself, or men who are younger than myself on YouTube, and I that have books that are published and that are out. I read their books. However, I also find value in wisdom, and that comes with being, that sounds a little mean, being an elder, being a little older, just by default. Hopefully they've gained knowledge over the years, and they have maybe more advanced wisdom. You would hope. At least I hope that about myself. But anyway, so today's topic is what I wanted to talk about. It's actually a little bit more about me, and I refer to myself as a cottage witch, but I would also still say I was more of an eclectic witch, because I'm practicing other to me, cottage witch is so encompassing though, but eclectic in a sense that I don't use one particular path. I don't necessarily follow the Wiccan path. I will use hoodoo, folk magic, if you will, in my practice, as well as I rely on Eastern philosophy. You talk about chakras and that type of chakra healing and things like that. So I definitely institute that as well into my practice. And a little bit of everything. I'm trying to think of course, now I can't think of anything I do. It's like whenever I get on video, I can think, it's in my head. As soon as I hit record, whoop, it's all gone. But basically, my practice encompasses more than one path. Hence, eclectic. That's what makes it eclectic. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Likewise, I don't think there's anything wrong with following one specific path. I come across a lot of people who follow one particular path, and they don't always like when people borrow from the path that they're on. And I have something in mind. For instance, African traditional religion, which is a big umbrella, I'm saying, so I don't want to get into specifics, but I know for a fact that there are people who are under the overall umbrella. They don't like when people, and not everybody, but some people, they don't like when people, say, reference a certain Orisha. They don't like that unless, you've been initiated and so forth. On the other side, I've come across people who are, I don't want to say Wiccan. under the Wiccan umbrella, I'll do the same thing under the pagan umbrella. They have a specific path, and they don't necessarily like when people borrow, certain ideology, certain concepts, ritual, without looking at it as a whole. For instance, someone who maybe doesn't like that you don't follow the Wiccan read, but you seem to be taking a lot of pieces from the Wiccan faith or Wiccan path. And I think those people are valid. I honestly do, because if you take your path very seriously and you've dedicated your time, resources, your energy to it, and you see it working for you, and especially if you're someone who is coaching or leading others, and then you see where people just kind of cherry pick, I can see how that might be an issue, or you might find, be offended by that. I definitely, I have respect for their offense. I can understand that. And I don't even have a button there. I think it's valid. I also think it's valid if maybe you don't have a calling to the way they do. I think there's room for all of us. They can be offended, that's fine. But I'm probably a cherry picker, and I'm okay with that. And I'm okay if maybe, I ruffle a couple feathers. That's fine with me. It doesn't change how I'm going to do. I can hopefully just be a little bit more respectful and make sure that I explain concepts fully so I don't offend people who are probably a little bit more focused in that path. So if I just take one little piece, or if I don't say the name of an Orisha correctly, or if I reference an Orisha and I haven't been initiated, and if I don't follow the Wiccan Rite, which FYI, I don't. I don't. I have respect for it. And in some way I do, but I'm also not above. If you mess with me or you mess with my family, yeah, I'm gonna want to harm you. If someone is an entity of sorts harming myself, or if I feel it's harming my family, yeah, I'm gonna want to retaliate, hex, call it what you will. But we're human. We have complexity. I don't like just one. I won't ever harm anybody. Living harms people. Me taking up space can be harming some other creature or something else. So, I don't want to intentionally harm. Let me just be very clear. I don't want to harm anyone. I'm not, out being violent or advocating that. But, I mean, what's wrong with wanting to protect, yourself and your family and your loved ones? I don't think there's anything wrong with protecting, and protecting sometimes means retaliation in my book. So back to being eclectic. So that's pretty much basically what it is. What it means to me is to boil it down to basically using concepts, ideology, ritual, what you will, from different faiths, different paths, and incorporating it and making it your own. It has been working for me for years now. I wouldn't have it any other way. I learned so much, and I love the fact that I can always go back to a particular concept because I've learned it and it fits that situation. It fits that particular moment or whatever. So I appreciate it, and I'm glad that I've been open to it. I'm glad I've been able to learn so much, and I record everything in my Book of Shadows. I have more than one because that's just life. I write a lot. But I'm grateful that I have that, because that becomes my Bible. That becomes my religious doctrine, if you will. Not that I follow a particular religion, more of a path, I prefer to call it, or a craft. Because I'm always practicing. You never know everything. But I write things down and I go back and I appreciate it, and I still buy books, and every now and then I'll look at a Wicca 101 type of book because it's just cool to refresh your memory. And then I'll go over to other paths and I'll look at those books, or I'll watch someone's YouTube video where it's maybe magics that I don't practice, or I've heard of but I don't really go too far into. And I kind of weed out all the extra stuff, and I zone in on what fits me or what attracts me. And from there, I'll take that, follow it in my mind, write it in my Book of Shadows, and use it when I need to, or if I want to, or share it if I want to. So that's how I practice being an eclectic witch. And it's also aided into my cottage witchery because, especially hoodoo. I mean, hoodoo is perfect for cottage witchery because it's a lot of herbs in the folk magic that I use, it makes a lot more sense for me in cottage witchery, because I am using a lot of herbs, I'm using a lot of natural elements when I'm creating magic. Yeah, so that's that. So that's pretty much all I have to say. It's not a lot to say about eclectic. Eclectic is what, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. That's pretty much it. So thank you for watching my video, and stay tuned, because I will actually show you some of my cottage witchery very soon. I alluded in another video, I bought these cute little little pots, and you plant a, you know, there's seeds. It's basically like a little block of dirt and seed, and you add water and it'll grow. But I thought it would be a great opportunity to show intentional magic and how I practice it, and I'll do it right here on YouTube. So stay tuned for that video, and thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll come back.